for very exciting.
Here comes your other girlfriend, Bob, Miriam.
Hey, Roberto.
Oh, you're kidding me. All the way from Denmark?
Yeah. Yes. So nice to see you.
Hello, Mr. Sabin.
Doug is in the house.
I'm just here observing. Do not ask me a question yet.
We have a celebrity.
Bob Sunshine.
Hey, Doug, how are you?
I've been better, but you know, it's a good day. So it's Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Look, everybody's starting to come on. They're just coming, Bob. See, I told you.
Yeah.
We give it just a couple minutes and then we'll our sponsor today is Vista and they're going to say hi.
I have a question. Is Mariam still on?
Of course she is.
Mariam.
Yes.
We had you listed on one of the panels for
Yeah.
Europe as Cinemax.
Yes.
But I know you're with View. So what is your correct title?
It's the same. I answered to Andrew on LinkedIn.
Oh,
It's
did you?
Cinemax. Because we still have some Cinemax cinemas in Denmark.
Right.
We always go by Cinemax View, and then in a 1 year time, or less than 1 year, maybe in 6 months' time, we're gonna be fully View. But
Oh.
people recognize us for Cinemax still.
Oh, see, that makes sense.
He's
Yeah.
taking a spot this year, Tim, at the show. And
Yes,
we're
he is.
presenting him with a milestone award.
Yes, we are. And we are all going to be there too.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Do I need to bring you a cigar this year?
You should, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, you should. Robertito.
Oh, look, we got Sammy, we got Todd Best, we got Angelica, we got Carrie D, we got Karina, David Crichton, Jessica, John Marmo. What up, John Marmo? Lauren
We got a
Green.
full house today.
And Bob was wondering who would come. I said, oh, you wait, brother. Yeah, we're waiting for our girls from Vista. Give them a few minutes.
That's me.
Oh, you're here?
I'm representing Vista today.
Hi,
Yes.
how are you, Lauren?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Fabulous, fabulous. So so Bob, when we have our speaker series, we have somebody that will sponsor us oftentimes, and they'll introduce their company and say a few words about their business, and then we'll get into our interview with you. So first we're going to run our little we've got a cute little video, and then Lauren, I'll come right to you, okay? So Fred, you want to go ahead and play our video?
Okay.
I've lost sound.
Nope, we hear you just fine. Can you hear us? We can hear you.
Now I can, yes.
Okay, Fred, you ready to go?
Sure.
So Fred's gonna throw a little video up. I think he's probably trying to find it. Where is it, Fred?
Okay, here.
Where is it?
Just let's go.
Okay. There we go. There we are. Good. Fred, are we done?
Yes, we're finished.
Okay, so Lauren, well, welcome to the WIE Speaker Series, Lauren, and please tell us a little bit about your company and then a little bit about how your relationship to WIE.
Sure. Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me. I know I speak for everyone at the kind of big Vista Group team. And when I say we're really proud to sponsor and to support this speaker series. I'm Lauren. I work at Movio, one part of the Vista Group team, and I cover the EMEA region, and I'm based over here in London. But just a little bit about Movio, I guess, specifically for those, in case you're not aware who we are, what we're currently up to. We at Movio offer data analytics and campaign management solutions for the cinema industry. So we work with exhibitors in a little over 50 countries now, I think, to help them better understand their customers and then connect with them via email, SMS, social media. And we're able to do so by integrating with their POS systems. So in most cases via our colleagues at Vista Cinema. And so really it's kind of our goal to work with our exhibitor partners to ultimately drive up cinema attendance, generate more bums on seats and stimulate not just the one visit, but also that cinema going habit by understanding, what drives repeat visitation as well. And so our main focus for 2023 has been on EQ, which is the brand new version of our marketing platform that we've been rolling out to all of our existing clients throughout the course of this year. I think back in 2020, Movio celebrated its 10th anniversary. So we used this time to reflect, as many did during that time, and to really kind of like absorb all the learnings of exhibitor feedback and also our own insights, to kind of double down on the features that we know our clients use most readily and effectively, and also develop some new features as well. And the outcome is Movio EQ, which it really is just a faster, simpler, smarter tool that puts the needs of the movie marketer really kind of at the forefront. And so the feedback we've already received from exhibitors who've already started using the product so far this year has been really, really positive. And so we're really excited to be kind of onboarding all existing and any new exhibitor partners as well over the course of the year. And then also just, I guess, because of our scale and the breadth of exhibitors we work with, we're also kind of increasingly sharing audience insights on the cinema industry at large to kind of help exhibition understand the overall market. And sometimes we'll also work, specifically with our exhibitor partners on case studies, kind of tailor client-specific research to help exhibitors achieve their business objectives, basically. But anyway, many of us at Movio and across Vista Group will be at Cine Europe in a couple of weeks, where we'll kind of be showcasing more of our products and new product features, and our research insights as well. So Movio's very own Sarah Luthwaite will be moderating a roundtable all about kind of engaging audiences in the future of the industry. There's also a panel on how cinemas can prepare for the next wave of marketing innovations. And this is produced by Vista Cinema's Till Kussman and moderated by Pauster's Michelle Stevens. And so there's a lot, there's a lot going on, but we're really looking forward to kind of seeing and catching up with a lot of you there.
Do us a favor, put your contact in the chat so people can say hi to you.
I will do. And hopefully that forms a nice segue into
Right.
the
Yeah. Well, thank you so very, very much. And everybody say, please reach out to Lauren and she'll put her contact in the chat. So without further ado, our speaker, our man of the hero that pulled Doug Saban out of retirement, Bob Sunshine, welcome to Women in Exhibition Speaker Series. Let's find out a little bit about you, Bob. We would like to go on a journey of where you grew up. Can you take us on that journey?
How about I just start by saying hello to so many of the people that are on that I know. And you obviously are very, very global, because I now see my good friend from Thailand, Suvani is on. I see Laura Peralta Jones is on. I see Mariam El Balkar is on. So it's great. So number one, congratulations to all of you for the wonderful work that your organization does. I'm delighted to be here today with you. I'm still trying to determine and figure out why Heather asked me. After watching your video and seeing guys like Rothman and Zarati and some of the celebrities. So I guess, Heather, you probably had a problem getting hold of Leonardo or Brad Pitt today, or maybe even a Chris Aronson. But as all of you probably know, you don't say no to Heather.
No.
Delighted to be here.
Yay. Thank you so much, Bob. Yeah, so tell us about, I mean, we know that you're an East Coast guy, and I figure there's probably a lot of unpacking about where you grew up, and maybe that would help us kind of know how you manage your life now. So you're growing up, where were you?
Yeah, I was born and grew up in Brooklyn for a few years before my family moved us out to Long Island, specifically Roslyn, and spent my time going to school out on Long Island. Eventually, I went off to school in Rhode Island, went to the University of Rhode Island. And following that, I moved into the city. I went to law school at Brooklyn Law. So although I do have a JD degree, so that means, Heather, if you'd like to call me Dr. Sunshine, you may.
Okay, all right.
Anytime. Don't
Don't
practice.
do it.
Was that Saban saying something?
Don't do it.
Yeah. So, and from law school, I've graduated into the industry, and I don't practice law per se, but I definitely use it in my business. And I'm currently living now in New Jersey with my wife. We have a home down in Florida, and we spend some time down there.
Do you find that you really stay connected to people that you know are East Coast? Do you share some sort of kinship?
You know, in the business that I'm involved in running conventions, I deal with people all over the world.
Yeah.
So we have lots and lots of friends in domestically, of course, Canada, Latin America, all over Europe, and all over Asia.
Okay. Well, let's learn a little bit about your favorite hobbies and pastimes. What makes you smile when you're not getting behind a trade show?
My favorite hobby is probably reading.
Okay.
I love to read, and I have a very bad habit that I like to smoke a cigar when I'm reading.
Is that why you're going to bring Miriam a cigar?
That's why. Yeah, she joined us for a cigar this year in Vegas, actually. And you had asked me about favorite authors.
Yes.
My favorite author is probably Daniel Silva and David Baldacci. Those are my two favorites.
And when you find yourself reading, are you going to go through audiobooks, or you just want the paper and want to turn those pages?
Actually, I read from a Kindle.
Okay.
Because I travel, it's a lot easier carrying a Kindle than a hardcover. So a Kindle's my thing.
And the cigar doesn't set them on fire.
You know, I would like to make one request, and that's that you mute Mr. Saban.
Here's the one that says, don't call on me, and I'm leaving. He's the only one that's not muted, Bob. Okay, so what is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment is marrying my wife, Jane.
Oh, every woman on here, doesn't that make your heart? That's so awesome. Does she know that?
She better. Yes, I think she does.
I love that. That just gave me a little chills. All right. Is there anything in your life you wish you could do over?
Yeah, definitely not marry my first wife. So I'm married now for close to 46 years. Okay, I was just corrected, 47 years.
Okay.
And
Wow.
it's been the best 47 years of my life.
That's awesome. Well, this is a question I love to ask people. Say, you've done a lot in your life. Is there anything that you think you would say to 16-year-old Bob?
Um, you know, Heather, I have trouble remembering what I did last week. So if you're asking me to go back to when I was 16, that would be very difficult. But knowing what I know now, I would say to myself, work hard, always tell the truth, be transparent, and find a good partner in your life.
Oh my God, that just makes me so happy.
You're not going to cry on me, are you?
No, I just love it because it's a really interesting where people are today when they look back at how they were when they were 16. It's a really pinnacle time. And it says a lot about somebody about what you think today you would wish you could have known then. And you've done a lot. So how would you say that you've changed since the pandemic?
I think everybody has changed since the pandemic. We all have a different perception on life right now. I think for me specifically, I don't take things for granted that I did during that period of time. Life is really precious, and you should constantly tell your family how important they are to you, and that work should not be your whole life.
Oh, I love it. Well, I was doing a little research on you, and I understand you've done some work with Variety Children's Charity of New York, and I'm sure you've got some great stories or memories. Is there anything particular that stands out that you look back and smile and glad you were part of it?
I could probably take the whole half hour to talk about Variety and what we were able to accomplish in New York. But I'd say probably the best moments that I had with Variety were when we were really taxed with raising money for the kids. We started a telethon, and we probably ran the telethon for almost close to a decade. And it was just a wonderful experience because we got to know the kids who we helped. We had a couple of poster children who literally we've grown up with over the years. I wish I stayed as in contact with them as I used to be, but wonderful, wonderful kids. And it really brings back some great memories.
Awesome. Yeah, we had our WIE party this year with the Variety Children Charity of California, and it was really, it felt nice to be part of something that's, bigger than us, just saying that, hey, this is a cool opportunity. So it's pretty cool. So what about Pioneer of the Year dinner? Is there anything that you reflect on that you have a fond memory about?
Believe it or not, I probably ran close to 25 of the Pioneer dinners.
Wow.
And during that time, we honored all of the top executives in the industry, people like Terry Semel from Warner Brothers, Card Walker, who ran Disney, Salah Hassanein. I'd say it was wonderful because we were taking care of people within our industry who were on hard times. And we did it in a very special way where it was anonymous, the help that we were giving out. And these were people that some of them who you probably knew and never thought they would need help, needed it. And they came to us and we were able to do it and allow them to continue to live their life with a dignity that they deserved. One story I'll quickly tell you is we were running a dinner in Los Angeles at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and a good friend of the organization, Dave Tebbett, was able to get Jay Leno to agree to be our MC for the evening. And my biggest task that night was Jay insisted through his PR people that we allow to leave his vehicle that he's coming in right outside so he could leave. And the hotel had a policy that they wouldn't do that. And for weeks, we were fighting and fighting with the hotel. And the night of the dinner, Jay comes riding in on his motorcycle. And it was very easy to keep it up top and not have to worry about it. But these dinners were great. The Pioneers were taken over by Will Rogers about, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago, maybe even more. And Will Rogers has done an unbelievable job in raising money for those veterans in our industry who have fallen on hard times. They've just done great work. Christine Bloomer right now is their head executive. She took over for Todd Vradenberg. And if you do anything, support them. They're a great organization.
I love that. Yep. All right, now let's get into the show. Let's talk about Show East. How did this conference come about and how has it evolved over the years?
Show East started, I believe, in '83 in Atlantic City. And it was put together by a group of exhibitors from New Jersey primarily. And it wasn't very successful the first year. And then we were asked, our organization, to get involved. And my brother Jimmy, who was involved with me at that time. So in '84, we took over the convention, basically running it for the 4 or 5 NATO units, on the East Coast, representing New England, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, the Mid-Atlantic area. And it started in Atlantic City at the Resorts Hotel. It moved over to our good friend Donald Trump's hotel.
Okay.
Fortunately, we didn't have very much to do with Mr. Trump other than to pay the hotel. And a number of years ago, we moved the show to Florida. The main reason is that we were approached by many of the exhibitors out of South and Latin America, and they had asked if we would open up their show to include them. So today, the show encompasses both domestic and people from Latin and South America. It's a small, intimate show. It's really based on content and film. What's great about the show is a lot of the exhibitors that come in who don't have time to meet with the major distributors at CinemaCon are able to share time with them and get time with them. So that's how that one developed.
Okay, well, let's talk about Cine Europe and Cine Asia. How do they compare to the US based conferences and summits? And do you think more US people should be attending them?
Well, I don't know if we could hold many more people. I'm happy to say that right now, as Loren mentioned during her speech, Cine Europe is going to kick off in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. Right now, we're 15% better than last year in terms of attendance. In 1992, I was at a dinner for the pioneers that we were running, and I had the occasion to meet an exhibitor out of Belgium called Joost Bert, who today runs Canopolis, one of the biggest exhibitors in Europe, also operate theaters now in Canada and in the US. Joost approached me and said, we should have a show like Show West in Europe. You interested? And that was what really prompted me to go to Belgium. We worked out the arrangements, and the following year we had our first show there. And it turned out to be pretty successful. The format of the show, very similar to what, Show West and CinemaCon are.
Yep.
And we moved the show from Belgium several years later to Amsterdam. And now we're in Barcelona, and we'll be spending, I think this is our 8th or 9th year in Barcelona, and it will be at the CCIB.
Great. What made you decide Barcelona?
Good support from the local community, and made a great deal with the CCIB so we can make some money.
Okay.
What we accomplished with Cine Europe and with Cine Asia was that we really opened up the foreign territory to the United States and to the US companies. They were doing business, obviously, in Europe and in Asia, but in those days, maybe 30% of the box office was coming out of those areas. Today, I would say about 77% of the box office comes from the international side. And it was really surprising that all of the major executives out of either London or the US, Hollywood, didn't know the local exhibitors. They all had a country manager who controlled everything. So although I'm very friendly with a lot of those country managers today, a lot of them are not happy with us because they don't run the fiefdom like they used to.
Oh.
Because the Andrew Cripps, the Stephen Odells, the Neil Swinkles, they now run the show. Cine Asia, we were approached to go out there, and we did, and we used the same formula, that we always have, and it worked. And we started in Singapore, and we've held conventions now in Beijing, in Bangkok, in Hong Kong, and the next show will be in December in Bangkok. The main difference between these shows and the US-based show of CinemaCon, and we ran Show West for many years, our group, is that show is just a great social media type of convention, where the press comes in and the press gathers, and they create great publicity for the industry. And it's a wonderful show. And as most of you were probably there this year, the show really worked out very well. And when that show works well, it bodes very well for Cine Europe.
Exactly. And I was stuck in a meeting room, so I didn't get to see any of the presentations this year. What's your favorite part about running these shows?
I'd say my favorite part of running these shows is getting to meet all the people within the industry, all the people from South and Latin America, from all parts of Asia and Europe, and to find that the situations and problems and what they go through is so similar to what we go through here domestically. And it was a real eye-opener for us. And it turned out, these shows to be very, very successful for the industry. Can I tell you a funny story?
Please.
One of I think it was our first or second year that we were running the show in Belgium, and we were running it in a town called Heysel, where they had a wonderful convention center, and Canopolis Theater was there. This was Joost Bert's theater. And I'm over at the trade show, and we're monitoring all the people that come in, and we had a gentleman come in who literally was dressed like a farmer. I mean, he was wearing, overalls, suspenders, and he said, "Hey, I'm from Bulgaria. I operate movie theaters, and I heard about your show. I'd like to come into your trade show." So of course we let him in. He went through it, and an hour later, when he was leaving, he grabbed me and said, "I don't understand something. You told me this show was strictly for the movie industry. Why are there so many candy companies and beverage companies at the show?" At which time we explained to him that the theaters sell candy and popcorn and soda. We introduced them to Coca-Cola and a couple of the candy companies. He said, "Thank you." He went back into the show. A year later, the same gentleman came back to the show. He wasn't dressed in overalls anymore. He was dressed in an Armani suit. He was wearing a Rolex. He had a pair of Ferragamo shoes, and he was dressed to the hilts. And he thanked us because what he learned at this show helped him make a lot of money.
Oh, I love it.
And one other story that I like. I was in Singapore when we were running our show there, and the industry was pretty new at that time. And Shaw Theaters had just opened a theater in a department store as part of a mall.
Okay.
And they were very, very proud of it. And I took a tour of it with Mark Shaw, and you had to go up a series of escalators to get to the theater. And it was amazing that all the signage was hand done. It could have been done by a kindergarten person. I got up to the theater. It was really tiny. The concession stand was just cardboard boxes on one another where they were selling the candy out of. And the only reason I really bring this up is because by moving the show to Asia and bringing in all of the different technologies from the domestic companies and the candy companies and all, we really helped modernize Asia. And what was good was that at this point, Asia was building a lot of theaters. So they didn't have to go through what we did in the States with projectors and platter systems. Immediately, they went to digital equipment and lasers, et cetera, and it helped really modernize their industry.
Well, that's a perfect segue to the question about ICTA. And how did that organization come about? And how do all these little events that you do around the world with ICTA help our industry grow?
Well, the ICTA is a global organization similar to that you are a global organization. And we're a network of manufacturers and dealers that have helped keep our industry ahead of other media. There's been so much competition over the last 10 years from other sources of media and TV and cable, et cetera, that it's really important that the theaters upgrade their equipment. And this is what the ICTA does. They are the group that literally helped develop 95% of all the equipment that's in movie theaters today. So technology is very, very important. And the international marketplace is very, very important, not only to the studios, but to the equipment manufacturers. So since I was telling a story, I'm going to tell you one more story. There's a company called Christie, which many of you have probably heard. And the gentleman that owned Christie and ran it for many, many years was Tom Christie. And one year, Tom Christie had Jack Klein drag me up to his suite because Tom Christie was kind of pissed that we were running shows now in the international market. Bob, what are you doing? The international market doesn't mean anything to us. We don't sell equipment there.
Oh, wow.
Movies aren't played there. And that was the thinking years and years ago. I mean, I'm talking 25, 30 years ago.
Right on.
Christie is now one of the biggest suppliers of equipment all over the world. And Tom's no longer with the company.
Well, I can tell you as somebody who's been to a lot of the shows, I remember the first time I came to an ICTA, I remember meeting Doug. One of my favorite times I spent was sitting with Doug and Neil and Dusty and telling really, 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 really nasty jokes.
I believe that.
Yeah, I just used to think it was such a great show. And I made a lot of friends from the Jason Vremans and so many people that we connected at ICTA. And those are the people that I sort of grew my career path with because we spent really quality time at that conference.
I assume you meant Doug Darrow, correct? Not Doug.
I don't think Doug Darrow tells dirty jokes. So what's your favorite part of all these? You have a favorite, you said meeting the people. So, all right. Is there a particular memory of somebody who's been recognized that you can think of that you just really took pride in recognizing their achievements?
Well, I think the question that you asked originally was different. And I'm trying to look what it was. Do you have a particular memory of a colleague who has been recognized in this industry,
Yes.
which you find rewarding? So, when you asked that question, what really sprang to my mind was that there was a guy that worked for me for 29 years who then moved over to NATO and has been running for the last decade, CinemaCon. And I don't know if he has ever been honored in any way by any of these organizations, but I have to pay tribute to a guy who, worked with me for so many years, Mitch Newhouser, for what he's established with CinemaCon and continuing the trend of what we developed at Show West. So I throw that name out.
I love that. Right, here's the challenge. When something goes wrong, and some technology doesn't work or speaker doesn't show up or something gets canceled, what do you do?
At the beginning of my years in the business, you used to panic. don't panic anymore. I don't think I panicked or got stressed out over anything like that for quite a while. These things happen. You're in a movie theater and the projector goes down and they don't have a backup. What do? You refund the money. In our cases, we just moved on to another program that we had or whatever. You can't panic. We've had lots of occasions where people weren't able to come, plane delays, weather delays and all. Let me tell you, if you have to, you get up in front of the audience and you give them a lot of BS and good information, and it works.
I
But
think I saw that at Show East.
we, I had an experience where I was presenting an award at Cine Europe in Barcelona, and I'm up there presenting an award to a guy, and somebody in the back is yelling to me, he's in the bathroom, he's in the bathroom. So casually, I just said, okay, why don't you go get him? And then I talked to the audience for 2 minutes about the show. You improvise and you make it work.
I love it. Is there anything that you would change in the relationship between the studio, the cinema, and the vendors?
Well, the first thing I would say is I think we're at a very good time in our industry now. We went through some of the worst years, during COVID. And right now it seems to me that distribution and exhibition are getting along very well. We're not fighting over many of the issues that we had years ago. Windows has been established at 45 days, so there's no fighting on that end.
Yep.
What I'd like to see more is I'd like to see the exhibitors respect the equipment manufacturers more and work with them to create the best environment possible in a theater. We want to put on a great experience. We want to put on what's best on the screen so people will continue to come back and not go to TV or cable or whatever.
Right.
And I'm surprised Doug Saban hasn't said anything to that.
Right? As the equipment guy. It's okay. He'll get his chance here in a minute.
Nope,
Huh?
nope.
Nope. And there was one other thing. So is there any technology, Bob, that you have seen recently that you think is really kind of a game changer in our industry?
The past decade, 15 years, we've seen more changes in technology than ever before. I would venture to guess that I'm probably 20 years older than most people on the call and maybe more. And I've seen everything in movie theaters, from dual projectors. The light source was literally burning carbon arcs. You had to have steel doors in front of the windows where you were projecting in case a fire caught. And then we came to the point where we had platter systems where we only needed, one projector. Then we replaced the carbon arcs with xenon bulbs. And then the rest is history. We came up with unbelievable sound systems, unbelievable digital systems. Today it's laser, and showing movies is so different today because it's these big formats like IMAX, like Dolby Vision, like all the different PLFs that a lot of the companies have. Honestly, I'm not sure what comes after that, but we keep evolving, and I'm sure something will. They have some things now called where they have projection rooms. They're eliminating them, and you're having there's a lot that will come. I'm just not familiar with anything more than what we've done up until the past year or two.
No, I'm with LG and we got direct view LED, so it'll be interesting to see if the industry will adopt it. All right, I got a couple more questions, Bob. This is where we get to the fun part. What we'd like to know, are you planning on retiring? Or are you going to stay with us for a little bit longer?
What kind of a question is that?
You could say you plead the fifth.
I have definitely cut back. I'm 77 years old. I'm still stronger than most of the people in my office. I still work longer hours and harder than they do. But there comes a time you want to spend more time with your family. I now have a home in Florida that I love. It's very nice to be down there. I call it La La Land. It's just something that is, special right now. And too many people die before they get the chance to do
live it.
everything that they really want to do. I've had too many good friends outside of the industry who have passed away. And every time I think of this now, I think of my good friend Eric Lomas,
Yeah.
whom many of you might know, who was running MGM distribution. Nobody smarter than this man in the industry. And he died just a couple of months ago at a very early age. He was in his mid-60s, one of the great guys in the industry. And, that can happen to anybody. So, you gotta basically set parameters for what's good in your life and work between them. Something that my wife will probably say you don't know how to do, but that's what we should all be working towards.
All right, now we're going to go for our 20 questions, and then we're going to open it up to our audience. So you ready? Favorite movie?
I have two favorite movies.
Okay.
Original Godfather,
Okay.
and I'm a romantic. I love Pretty Woman.
Oh, awesome. Favorite movie snack?
Popcorn and Diet Coke.
There you go. Favorite actress or actor?
I have too many that I like. But if you pressed me, I'd say probably one of my favorites would be Julia Roberts.
Okay, Pretty Woman. Action or horror?
I'm scared shit of horror films. I don't watch them.
Me neither. Beer or whiskey?
I'm not a drinker.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
I never grew up with dogs. I did buy a dog when I first got married because my former wife wanted a dog, and I got rid of them both at the same time.
Okay.
So no more dogs in my life.
Okay. New York or Florida?
There's nothing like New York, but the city has gone down so much in the last few years. I hardly go there anymore. My office is in Englewood. And as I said, Florida, stress-free. It's a good life for me. I'm enjoying it.
All right, then Florida it is. Morning or late night?
Morning person.
Me too. Texting or email?
Neither. Phone calls.
Oh, yes. Superpower you wish you had?
To live forever.
Oh, okay. Favorite vacation city?
Well, right now it's probably Palm Beach, where I have a house.
Favorite holiday?
Definitely Thanksgiving. That's where family gets together. And someday I'll show you all of the cakes and desserts my wife prepares for Thanksgiving.
All right. Last song you listen to?
I don't listen to a lot of music, but if you ask me who is my favorite female recording star, I'd say Alicia Keys.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nickname your wife calls you?
She calls me Schmuck every once in a while. And for those of you that don't know what schmuck means, you could substitute the word asshole, I guess.
That's awesome. Cake or pie?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Okay. How many languages do you speak?
I'm lucky I can get one out. I'm only an English person.
All right. Who's the first
Unfortunately.
person you call when something bad happens?
First person I would call is my wife, Jane, but fortunately not too many bad things have happened lately.
All right. Do you know how to salsa dance?
I don't even know what salsa dancing is, Heather.
Let me know. Okay. When somebody cuts you off on the freeway, you fill in the blank.
Well, up until a number of years ago, I'd curse them out and give them the finger and all, but with all the shit that's going on now, I'm just very quiet, slow
Okay.
down, and don't get involved.
All right. Last question. Who would play Bob in a movie about you?
I thought about that question, Heather, and the truth of the matter is, I couldn't come up with anybody.
Richard
Uh,
Dreyfuss?
No, I don't think so. So, it's funny. So I said, instead of a person from, the acting school,
Yeah.
what about a person from within the industry?
Okay.
And I came up with the name Jeff Goldstein.
Ah,
And
that's perfect.
I came up with him because he is a solid citizen.
Yeah.
He's very transparent and honest. He's very enthusiastic. And I don't think I know anyone who loves this industry as much as he does.
I love it. Do you know the two people said Stanley Tucci would play you?
Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
My
Not bad.
sister said Ben Stiller. All right. Well, I want everybody to have a chance to say hi to you. So I'm going to start with Doug. You said not to call in, but I'm calling you. Doug, you could just say hi, or you could ask him any question you want to ask him.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Dougie.
We're working on a number of ICTA things, so we're spending some time chatting. I know what he means about their retirement or the pseudo. I'm next year gonna buy a touring coach and move into it, get rid of everything I own. And I'll be in the coach driving around the US until I decide I don't want to put $1,400 of fuel in the coach every 2 days.
Doug,
Okay.
this is supposed to be about me, not you.
Nah,
So come on.
All right. I'm Doug. I'll move on. We love you. All right. Next one up. Ali Gori, do you have a question for Bob, or you just want to say hi?
Yeah, I have a question. Any advice for anyone who's interested in expanding their career beyond domestic and just wants to learn more about the international side of the industry? What would you recommend?
Get to know Andrew Sunshine. Tell him what you think you would like to do, and ask him or myself for some recommendations to meet people. Definitely come to some of the international shows. And we'd be glad to make some introductions.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I've got to go to his girlfriend, Miriam. Would you like to say hi to your love?
Mwah. That's it. I love you, Roberto. Thank you so much for always being so kind to me, all over these years, in all over the territories.
You just be careful, or we're going to send you back to Turkey.
Yes, send me back anywhere. I think the next time I'm going to my next location will be something like either North Korea or one of these countries that are very difficult to work with. Denmark is very quiet. Everything happens every day is the same. There's stability. I'm not used to stability.
Well, if you'd like, come to City Asia this year. We'll introduce you to a lot of people from Bangkok and from Vietnam.
I know.
And
I will.
be glad to introduce them to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we got to go for Teresa English. Come on, girl, bring it in.
Hey, Bob. So as an avid reader, what's your favorite movie adaptation of a book? Because I know books and movies often get a bad rep, but like, oh, they destroyed the book. So what's your favorite movie adaptation of a book?
I gotta believe it's the Godfather series. Yeah, that's what I would go with. What's yours?
What's yours,
I don't
Teresa?
know. I tend to separate them and enjoy both, so I love the Harry Potter series.
I'm about to say Harry Potter,
I also
yeah.
love the books. So
Well, very successful, obviously, at the box office. That wasn't my type of movie, but made J.K. Rowling's a lot of money.
yeah, there's definitely some David Baldacci ones that would make some pretty good movies.
Yeah, a couple of them have been.
All right, thanks, Teresa. Okay, I'm gonna go grab Sammy.
Hey.
Where's Sammy? Sammy.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know how to unmute myself. No, I'm just, thank you so much for sharing, the insight. I've only ever gone to Vegas. So hearing about Show East and more of your Spain, of, Europe. I'm going to say that so wrong. What is it? European.
Cine Europe.
Yep. like that was just very cool to hear like the difference in kind of how it started. So can I ask, like, early on, what would, for a lot of people that I talk to, they're always like, what is like the most exciting thing? What do you think the trade shows, really people take out of that? If they're coming for the first time and just stepping into our industry? Do you think it's more of the networking?
Sammy, you know what? It's very interesting because most of these conventions are really film driven, content driven, and you couldn't run these shows without film. However, the number of film buyers and film people that come to the shows is very small compared to some of the exhibitors and equipment people who are in the industry. And we did a survey once, and close to 60% of the people that come to our shows are not interested in going to see the film. They go to the trade show. And they're going to the trade show for the major reason they want to find out what new technologies are there, how they can make them usable in their theaters, how they can make the experience on the screen better, and how it can help attract more people to the theaters.
A very interesting perspective. No, I appreciate that insight. I work in group sales, so I'm going for the film content, but yeah, having to experience the trade floor shows and seeing all the different ones. No, like that was my experience this past
Who are you with, Sammy?
with Marcus Theaters.
Oh,
yeah.
I knew a good friend of mine used to be by the name of Ben Marcus.
Such a
That's
small
how
world.
far back I go. And obviously Rolando is a very good friend of mine now. And I was just with Rob Novak from your company in DC a week ago.
Oh yes, he was traveling. Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Thanks, Sammy. Okay, Todd Best, you better unmute yourself. I'm going to grab you. Can you hop on, Todd? If not, I'm going to move up. All right, I'm going to go for Thomas McCalla then. Thomas.
There we go. Couldn't see my arrow there. Hello, Bob.
Nice to see you, Thomas. Thank you for letting Andrew be on your podcast the other day to talk a little bit about Cine Europe.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's always fun having Andrew on and everything else. And we're really looking forward to seeing you in Cine Europe. I mean, you throw on such a great show.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much.
So mine's just a hi. You can go to the next person, Heather.
Okay, I'm going to grab Katie. Katie's iPhone. Can you hop on there, Katie? There she is. Hi, darling.
I'm trying to unmute myself. I don't know if I did or not.
You have. We can hear you.
So I don't really have any questions, but I really appreciate that you raised funds for the pioneers and listening to all of your experience. I think that's something that the next generation ahead of us loses. And I'm grateful that you're willing to share your knowledge with us.
You know, you make a great point. And one of the things that we're going to try and do at Show East this year is we want to take the next generation of executives and try and instill in them the showmanship, the excitement, and the love of the industry that a lot of them don't have. Now, I go way back in this industry to the days of Ted Mann, Salah Hassanine, Bernie Meyerson, Carl Patrick. These were the guys that really ran the industry for years. And I'm sorry to say that many of the exhibitors today just can't match up to them. We need to do better and bring these kids along so that this industry stays thriving.
I couldn't agree more, and I really appreciate your sharing your knowledge.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. Sandy, we got to grab you, young lady.
Well, I don't have too much to say, except that, as I said, I've been to every Cine Europe except 1995, which is probably, I think, very unusual. And I'm very sad that I don't get out to Cine Asia anymore either. But maybe, who knows what the future, but I'm definitely looking forward to Barcelona in a couple of weeks.
Well,
Thank you.
Please come and say hello to me.
I will do.
Good.
All righty, I'll keep on going. Miss Laura Peralta Jones, are you able to hop on?
Good morning, good morning. Hello. I'm on
Hello,
Skype.
Laura.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to see Bob Sunshine here because we go way, 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 way back. And I've watched the transition from Nielsen to FEG, and I was in Ivory Towers and the client for years before they asked me to come help them a couple of times. And so I am really lucky that I know Bob really well too. I knew most of the answers when you were asking the questions, Heather, about his consummate reading and the joy of Jane and her Thanksgiving desserts. And so I really can't expound too much, but other than to say thank you so much for recognizing Mitch Newhouser. Because you, Matt, Mitch, all of you go way back. I still have all the paperwork from Show West 2009 with all your signatures and names and everything. And I reflect upon those times because they were some of the best times of my life when you guys were doing Show West. So anyway, that's it for me. I did want to say one thing though. I felt when you commemorated Oliver from Coke, when he was up on stage at Cine Europe, that was also one of my favorite Bob Sunshine moments. It was really heartfelt and wonderful. So there you go. That's it.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Laura.
hon. Suvani, do you want to say hi before you go? It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning in Bangkok. Let's see. Maybe, do you want to say hi? Suvani, do you want to say hi real quick? Maybe not.
Well,
Hi, I'm trying to find how to, unmute the microphone. Yeah.
You did,
I
Suvani.
think,
We can hear you.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And I know Bob for already almost 20 years. And then this is the first time I know the inside of him. Very, very fun. Yes. And
Well,
I hope to see you in December. And if anyone in this group could join Cine Asia in Bangkok, please.
Souvenirs company, SF Cinemas, are tremendous supporters of us. And Souvenir has been a terrific friend and business relationship and acquaintance for many, many years. And I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Okay, Tiffany, thank you. I'm going to go grab Ernie. Step up, Mr. Ernie in the house. There he is.
Well, hello, Bob.
Hi, Ernie.
Yes. I just want to say, Heather, first of all, great job. Questions. Bob is excellent on answering anything you come up with. Bob, it's been a pleasure to work with you all these years. I do have to say, Bob, that you made a really big impression on my grandson back in San Diego about, I don't know, it's been what, 8-10 years now. He still asks me about you all the time. And I just want to thank you for that. Okay. I just talked to Shan the other day and told him that we're going to be heading up to LA in July, and I'm hoping he can make it up so you can see him again. And,
It'd be my pleasure. And for all of you, whether you know Ernie or not, Ernie plays harmonica, and he's part of a band that the ICTA has put together that's called the Traveling Cinema Thugs. I don't know where they got that name from, but Ernie's a major part of it. It's good to see you, Ernie.
Yep, good to see you too, Bob. Thank you. Heather, thank you
Coming,
again.
Ernie. You
All right.
betcha. Okay, Miss Katie, Mama T, are you still here? Mama T, we gonna take your picture with Bob?
I am.
Okay.
Hey, hi, Bob. Nice to see you as always. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your wisdom with us. You have always been consummate gentlemen. You have always been very kind to me and very understanding. you and I have had a couple of meetings, and I just want to thank you for always being the role model that we need in this industry. So thank you so much. I'd also like to take a selfie. So it's really difficult. All you gotta do is smile. So that's it. So just smile real big. And
Oh, how cute.
there we go. Perfect.
All right.
So much.
Not many people get to take my picture. I'm always in the background, but for you, I'll smile anytime.
Mwah. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm gonna grab one last person. Mario, I got a call on you, sweetheart, and then we'll end it after you, okay?
Thank you, Heather, for making this event extraordinary. Having Bob in front of us, this most time I spent with you, Bob, for so long. I've been 10 years in your industry, and you've been so generous to us. At ICTA in Toronto, I brought my family to the event. My family was welcome. We all felt at home around you and your team. And you raised the bar to invite me to Belgium to go see the ICTA event in Belgium. And you said, Mary, I'll introduce you to my friend. And I did not get to see you at CinemaCon this year much, but I got to meet your friend, Eddie. We spent an hour together talking about you, and I'll send you a picture of the two of us.
Was this Eddie Duquesne you're referring to?
That's right.
Good man.
Thank you so much. Thanks,
Thank you,
Heather. Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
All right, so without further ado, everyone, I want to say thank you for spending your hour with us. And Mr. Sunshine, do you see now why we invited you? Does it make sense?
Well, I'm not so sure it makes a lot of sense to me when you had a lot of other people. But as I said, Heather, I don't think I've ever said no to you, nor many people. Let me ask a quick question. Is Lauren still on the phone?
Lauren is. I think so, Lauren.
Hi, I'm here.
I just wanted to say, good job. Looking forward to having Vista and Movio with us at Cine Europe. And you gave my whole speech on Cine Europe. You left out a few things, but you touched on everything. So thank you.
I'm
Good to see
glad.
you.
I'm glad. But yeah, hope to see you there.
Okay, everybody, thanks for being the best part of WE, and we will see y'all soon.
Take care. Thank you all.
everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Heather.